This is James Helder for iFILM London. I'm in the iBox gym today in Bromley. With me, I've got former GB podium star Ian Weaver. All right, Ian?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks, mate. I'm all right. First things first, thank you for having us down and giving us a little bit of your time. The reason I want to talk to you today is about a few things, i.e. regarding your licence, what's going on with the British Border Control within regards to getting yourself a licence. Could you tell us a little bit about what's been happening?
Yeah, well, 12 months ago, they found out that I had done a brain scan, just a routine brain scan, and I found out that there was an acroid cyst I was born with. I've had it all my life through my boxing career, and they just said they're not happy to give me a licence. You know, I've been to 3 specialists, and they said, you know, you're fine to fight, but you know the board aren't happy with it, so they're not willing to grant me a licence. So what we're doing now is we're getting a licence abroad, you know, in European, so we can still fight for a European title, and going to be fighting around Europe and hopefully America.
So I'm not a specialist, as you know, I'm not a doctor, but you've gone to see 3 different specialists, and this is something that you've had all your life. So all the times you've boxed for Great Britain as an amateur, you've had over 100 amateur fights?
15 fights I had.
115 fights. So all this time you've had this cyst on your brain and you've never had a problem until it was found. That was the first time anyone knew anything?
Yeah, that was it. I've never ever had any headaches, suffered from any neurological problems at all. So it was a bit of a shock when I first found out, but when I went to see the specialist, he said, you know, it's nothing, you know. You fought all your life with it, and you know you've never had anything happen to you sit then, and I think you're fine. You know, 3 specialists said the same thing, that I'll be fine to fight. They're happy to grant me a licence, you know, but the board aren't happy with it for some reason, you know, so they keep turning me down.
Just so people know the kind of level that Ian was fighting at and kind of the stuff he was doing. Ian, could you tell the iFILM viewers just exactly how many amateur titles and amateur medals you won?
I won junior ABAs, senior ABAs, schoolboys, 4 nations. I won a European silver medal in Moscow, senior Europeans, Commonwealth Games, youth and senior. I think my last 10 internationals for Great Britain, I won 9 medals, and you know I beat Olympic bronze medalists, Commonwealth Games gold medalists, world medalists. You know, I beat a lot of good kids out there.
Going back to that moment when you decided to leave the amateur days behind and take up the pro ranks, can you remember that day?
Yeah, it was as soon as I went into the meeting to find out if I was going to the last qualifier for the Olympic Games, you know, and as soon as he said no to me, you know, I told him, I told Rob McCracken, you know, I'm not happy to stay on the squad anymore. I'm going to turn pro because, you know, I give 4 years of my life on the squad. I won a medal in every tournament they took me to except from one, and they give it to a kid who's been on the squad 4 months, and he didn't have the experience I had. I know he was bigger for me at the weight, but you know I thought I deserved my spot to go to the qualifiers. I thought I earned it, and as soon as they said I wasn't going, you know, I decided to turn pro and give the pros a crack.
What was Rob McCracken's initial reaction to telling him that news?
Well, he just said, obviously you're not going to the second qualifier. How do you feel? What are you going to do now? You're going to turn pro? And I think he thought I knew that I was going to turn pro. You know, he always thought that I wanted to turn pro. I had that sort of style, and I said, yeah, I'm not happy to stay on any longer. He said, we'd love you to stay on for the Commonwealth Games and Europeans and get a bit bigger at 60 kilo and then try for 2016, you know, but I wasn't happy to stay another 4 years to have the same thing happen to me again, you know, get to the qualifiers, and they sent a kid that with half my experience and, you know, who's been there a couple of months, you know, I wasn't willing to do that.
So you had the choice of quite a lot of promoters to turn pro with, I take it. You must have gone around and spoke to different people, different teams. What did you and your team decide on doing, Ian?
I spoke to a few promoters, but I went to see Eddie Hearn, and as soon as I sat down with Eddie, you know, I was happy with what he was offering. You know, he offered me a lot of fights, and that's what I wanted. I just wanted to keep active. You know, with the squad I was fighting often. I was fighting like 5 or 6 times a week. You know, monthly I was out in tournaments, and I had like 20 fights a year, so I wanted to stay active as a pro. I didn't want to just to turn pro and have 3 or 4 fights a year. I wanted to get on the big shows and have a lot of fights, and Eddie could offer that.
I remember seeing on Twitter the pictures of you signing your contract with Eddie Hearn, and it was a big thing. It was hyped. You was tipped as one of the main prospects to go on to achieve 2 great things, you know?
Yeah, well, it was exciting times at the time, you know. So, and I was looking forward to. I was meant to fight last September the 8th. You know, I was getting ready. I was fit. I was a week before my fight, and then they told me the news that they found some cysts in my scan. You know, so it was a big shock to me and a big blow. But, you know, I've got over it now. I'm going to be fighting hopefully in America and all the big shows out there around Europe, you know, which I'm used to doing. I've been boxing on the squad for 5 years, boxing all around Europe, so I'm used to boxing away, so I'm happy to do that.
How much does boxing mean to you? How much of your day-to-day life is involved and based around the boxing and the boxing gym?
My life's boxing, to be honest. You know, I live in Bournemouth, so I travel to Bromley, Kent every week. Live up in Bromley.
You stay in digs all week and then train in the iBox gym?
Yeah, I live in digs all week, Monday to Thursday, and then go home and train in my amateur gym. So you know, my life is boxing. You know, I've been boxing since I was 6 years old. I was on the Olympic squad for 4.5 years, every week up there. You know, so. There was no choice at all. Like when they said, "Oh, Robert Smith won't give you a license," or the Boxing World won't give you a license, it was never in my mind, "Oh, I'll retire," because my life is boxing. So I just thought the next best thing is to go abroad. You know, it was always my aim to go to America one day and box out there, because that's where the money is. You know, if you can make it out there, you're going to do really well. So just have to go a little bit earlier than what I thought.
What's Alan Smith said to you? Has he talked about maybe relocating you to Ireland, maybe relocating you to America? What was the initial thoughts?
He said, you know, he doesn't. Obviously, I've been training there a year, you know, and he wouldn't like me to go and train anywhere else. He said, but if that's what's good for your career and you get a good offer to go to America, then I'd be happy. I'd like you to go out there and, you know, fulfil your dream. But I said to her, you know, I don't want to leave you or the boys. You know, I like the gym, I like training. So when I fight in America, I just go out there like 10, 12 days before, and fight and then come back and, you know, train with Al. You know, I love it here. It's a good atmosphere. All the boys, they're good as gold. We're all getting really well. It's like a big family, you know, so I wouldn't want to leave that just yet, and I'd just relocate and fly out there 10 days before the fight, and I'd be happy to do that. I've done it before in the amateurs, gone to America 10 days before, boxed out there, so I'd be happy to do that.
With all the hype that's going on at the moment around Matchroom Sport, with a lot of the boxers in the country signing with notably Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, does it kind of make you a bit envious? You're kind of looking at these guys thinking, that should be me, that should be my time at the moment? Yeah,
it does. Like, obviously watching Cal Yafai, Callum Smith, Tom Stalker, how well they're doing, you know.
Your friends from the GB squad, I take it?
Yeah, I won a European silver the same time as Tom Stalker and Cal Yafai, you know. I was winning medals with them boys, so I do feel a bit envious when I see them on the telly and they're getting all the hype, you know, but fair play to them, good luck to them, and they're doing really well, and I'm happy for all of them, you know. They're all good lads, and I wish them all well.
All right. Well, listen, I hope everything works out what you're doing. Having watched you spar today, I'm kind of believing what Alan Smith was telling me. Like, obviously, when trainers tell me their fighters, obviously, the greatest thing since sliced bread, I kind of take it with a pinch of salt, because they're not going to tell me it's rubbish, is he? But having watched you spar today, I actually think you are actually pretty decent, you know. So, and having 115 amateur fights, how many did you lose out of 115 amateur fights?
I lost 20.
Yeah. Wow, that is a phenomenal record, you know?
Yeah, I think I boxed 60, 65 times for my country, so, and I lost 20 fights altogether, you know. So I done all right. I didn't do too bad.
Who was the toughest amateur boxer you fought?
To be honest, I think Danny Phillips in England. I had a good fight with Danny Phillips in the Junior ABA finals. You know, he's a talented kid. Internationally, it's hard to say because they're all different. Some are strong, some are good boxers. You know, so I boxed world medalists, obviously you Olympic medalists. You know, so it's hard to pick one. But the sparring was tougher than anything. You know, with the Kazakhstans and that, they were really hard. But yeah, I couldn't name one, to be honest. They're all pretty good.
When you think of professional boxing, the word Kazakhstan doesn't come to mind. But when you think in the amateurs, how the level of some of these guys, why do these guys not turn over? Do you know what I mean? I'm
not sure. You know, obviously Ukraine, not many of them turn over. Kazakhstan, but in the amateurs, they're the main boys. When you draw a Kazakh, you think, you know, I've got a hard fight here. You know, you're going to be in for it. So I'm not sure why they don't turn pro. You know, not many of the Russians do either. But they're all good. They're all really good in the amateurs.
Ian, listen, I wish you the best of luck what you're doing. I hope the British Border Control, for some reason, decide maybe they can grant you this licence, and if they don't, you know, it's not the end of the world for you. I know this is your life, this is what you do, so we wish you the best of luck with what you're doing, and I know we're going to follow your journey and hopefully get a chance to catch up with you again soon, mate.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
This is James Holder with Ian Weaver for iFILM London. Thank you very much. Cheers.